I appreciate it, man, being very honest.
All right.
Oh, shit.
You okay? What you got now?
Go down.
You okay?
You got shot in the leg.
Welcome back to the IA Guy, a police podcast here with your host, Marlon Marrache. Today, boom. I mean, this is a viral incident. A lot of the podcasters, a lot of people just in general are talking about in the law enforcement community about this negligent discharge. So let's get to it, man. It happened on December 13th, 2024, in the wonderful state of Florida, in the city of Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And here's what happened. You got a traffic stop for a traffic violation. And the deputy steps out of his patrol vehicle and goes around to the passenger side. The violator, Mr. Arrington, rolls down his window, and they have this interaction, and there's a lot that is being discussed. Take a look.
Lower your windows, all of them. What's up, my man? Hey, you got a valid driver's license, proof of insurance, all that good stuff? Hey, you blew that red light.
I like your yellow and turned red when I went out there.
It was red when you blew it.
It was yellow.
Okay. Well, I saw it. It was red. So.
I saw it too.
All right. Well, you got a proof of insurance?
Yeah.
You got anything crazy in the car?
Yeah.
What you got?
A gun.
You got a gun?
Mm-hmm.
You do? All right. Where's that? It's on you? Okay. As long as you're cool. And...
Oh, I'm chill. That's what I'm asking. I ain't finna lie to you.
No, man. I appreciate your honesty.
Oh, I ain't got time to lie.
That's awesome. So you have concealed carry and all that good stuff? No, you don't. All right, you're not a convicted felon, right? Nothing.
I do everything, whatever.
Okay.
You do,
all right. So what we're gonna do is, just for my safety, your safety, I'm gonna have you step out. All right, fair enough. And we're just gonna remove the pistol from you, and then we're gonna run your license, make sure everything's good, and I'm gonna send you on your way.
Get out this way.
Yeah, just hang tight. Just do me a favor, lower that window. Hey, he's very compliant. He does have a pistol on him, so we're going to take him out from that side, remove the pistol, and we'll go from there. All right?
Get out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so a couple of things here. Number one, Internal Affairs did a very, very outstanding job, I should say. I've read and I've written a lot of investigations report. This is very comprehensive. It's about 54 pages. There's a lot of notes, a lot of things to talk about. Of course, we're not going to talk about it all. But what we are going to do is invite our guy, man, a street dude, my boy, my guy, Pat Mahoney. Hey, man, Code 6. What's going on, Pat? How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, listen, let's get right to it. Look, we've watched this. You and I have read the IA report. Talk to me about this interaction with the deputy, with Mr. Arrington, and let's go from there.
Yeah, it just seems like he blew a red light. That was the basis for the stop. As the deputy approaches the driver, they begin a dialogue, and the driver at some point informs him, "Hey, man, I do have my firearm concealed on my person." And the deputy decides, "Hey, man, I'm going to separate you from the weapon at some point," and then the rest is history.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this, though, because in this investigative internal affairs report, they start discussing let's back up. During his compelled interview with Internal Affairs, he does mention that it's a possible stolen vehicle. So we go from having a traffic stop for a traffic violation, and now he starts, according to the actual video that we watched, there's nothing mentioned about having a stolen vehicle. But what I do know, at one point he says, "Hey, you know what? Is there anything crazy that I need to know about?" And that's when he tells him that he's armed. So now we start making these decisions about, hey, I'm going to separate him and seize that firearm. I want you to kind of touch, first and foremost, we talk about a stolen vehicle, or at least it's possible. And then let's talk about this, quote unquote, for your safety and officer safety, I'm going to have you exit the vehicle. What do you think?
So in reading the IA, he does say in his interview that he noticed that the shifter column was broken on the vehicle, and that can be a sign of a stolen vehicle.
Right.
I don't know what the officer did prior to activating his lights to initiate the traffic stop, whether he ran the tag. I do know that the driver of the vehicle did give his driver's license and registration. It didn't seem from the body cam that the was a whole lot of investigation into a possible stolen vehicle, but that is what he said in the IA afterwards.
Yeah, it just seems to me, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but back in my days in the streets, and I know a lot of my LEPD folks out there, well, Marlon, you know, I call it what it is. Yeah, I did a lot of admin, but I did do some street time as well, so I got a little street cred, if you will. But back in my days when we used to patrol Code 37 vehicle, when you used to actually pull someone over, we're running plates. And again, I don't know if in this situation they ran the plates prior to actually going code 6 at scene and making contact. But yeah, you should know, or you should at least have knowledge that this is a possible stolen vehicle. But again, not to knock the deputy at all. He did observe what he believed through his training and experience, that a broken column, wires hanging out, that it could possibly stolen. So that is his reasonable suspicion to connect him to conduct a further investigation. What do you think?
I mean, the driver, you know, he handed him the registration and the driver's license. I feel like, you know, and I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking, but you could have looked at that to see if that matched right away. It didn't seem to come up in the initial stop, so I
Correct.
don't know, you know, how imperative it was at the time.
Yeah.
But that was mentioned at some point.
Yeah, which brings me to my next point, because he did say, hey, listen, give me your driver's license and show me your registration. We'll go ahead and check it and you'll be on your way. And that's when he pretty much said, hey, there's, I don't want to, is there anything crazy I need to know about that you have? And that's when he told him that he's armed. So now let's move from that into the fact that he has a concealed weapon on his persons, and making the decision to have him exit the vehicle because of officer safety reasons. Or should I say that you've heard in your career, I know I've heard it a lot too, is for my safety and your safety, I'm going to have you exit the vehicle. What do you think?
Yeah, dude, I hate the for my safety and your safety thing. You know, in the state of Florida, there is constitutional carry, or you can have a concealed weapons license. It is also written in the law that police officers do reserve the right to separate you from your firearm for the purposes of conducting an investigation. In my career, I can't say I did it a whole lot.
Yeah.
I had my reasons. This officer had his reasons for why he decided he wanted to separate, you know, the subject from the firearm. However, a little egg on your face when you say it's for your safety and you end up shooting the guy. You do have a whole lot of questions to answer afterwards.
Yeah, and to that point, you know, this what used to be called an accidental discharge turned out to be an ND, right? A negligent discharge. Hey, I got to ask you something, because it does spell out, and here's where I'm going with this. In this comprehensive internal affairs report, there is PowerPoint slides that pretty much depicts training that Jacksonville Sheriff's Office received as it relates to, you guys call it concealed weapons license. We call it CCW. You guys call it CWL. So for the purposes of us breaking it down, let's just go with CWL, carrying a concealed weapon. And it mentions something here, and you and I were having this discussion about, and maybe you can help me out to try to make me understand where is it at here that I was looking at? I was looking at, oh, here it is. In one of these PowerPoint slides, it says, investigative procedures. When encountering an individual who is armed with a concealed weapon, firearm, there are two levels, right? If you look at page 32, that one slide, it says there are two levels of investigative procedure. One of them is a field contact, with this is exactly what that is. And two is a follow-up investigation. So for the purposes of time and effort, let's just forget about number two and let's talk about number one. Field contact, eligibility requirements that can be easily verified in the field. If they satisfy the field contact requirements, release from scene and do not seize the weapon. So I got to ask that golden question. What are the field contact requirements?
Well, I can tell you in Florida, there's pretty much two things. One, not a convicted felon. You haven't been adjudicated delinquent. One of the things in Florida state statute is if you are adjudicated a juvenile delinquent, you're not allowed to possess a firearm until you're 25 years old. So
Okay.
even though you're an adult, you're still prohibited from carrying a firearm.
Okay, so Pat, what I really want to understand, and I think this is super, super important, super educational, is uh, when we're conducting traffic stops for traffic violations, and does the reasonable officer know these CWL type of laws? I mean, you should. Don't get me wrong. You signed off and saying, said in your training that you attended, you signed for it, date and time. I think in this one it was back in December of in July of 2023, where all Jacksonville, for the majority, well, in this case, these 3 deputies signed off that, hey, we received this training. That's where I'm going with that. So what I'm asking is, I'm out in the streets, I'll make a traffic stop for a traffic violation, and then for whatever reason, they tell you that they're armed. Do we somehow just kind of put aside the traffic violation and now we start focusing our investigation on whether or not you should be carrying, or how does that work out? You see what I'm saying? I feel like there's no link. I feel like we're missing. There's a gap. Like we're missing a connection between what is a traffic violation and even a possible stolen vehicle, like they told I afterwards. Not there, right? But that's besides the point. Help me out with this and make me understand.
So when you're discussing officer safety, or in the context of this traffic stop, your basis for the investigation was the failure to stop at the traffic signal, the red light violation.
Right.
That's the basis of your investigation. And at some point he says, hey, yeah, I am armed, it's on my person. And then the officer decides that somehow there's a threat to his safety. The catch to that is you need to be able to articulate what is the threat to your safety. Now, personally, for me, I don't believe that pulling someone out of the car all the time is the right move. I believe that you're actually at a tactical advantage by keeping him in the vehicle, especially when you have contact and cover officers like you did in this situation. There were 2 other officers that could have watched him, but you need to be able to articulate what is he doing that makes you think that or suspect there's a threat to
Yeah.
safety there. In this incident, he was very compliant. He didn't seem, or it wasn't said that he was making any furtive movements or reaching
Right.
around.
Right.
It's a slippery slope when you start using the officer safety rule.
Yeah.
It's not what he could do, it's what he's doing in the moment. And unfortunately, you have a constitutional right to carry a firearm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty libertarian when it comes to that. Even when I was a police officer, I don't feel that it's correct that I'm going to separate you and you're not doing anything wrong. It's just the fact that I'm standing next to you. Uh, and then in this case too, it ended up egg on the face again. We're the ones who shot him,
Yeah.
and not him doing anything wrong.
No,
So
100%.
again, it's a slippery slope.
100%. I'm with you on that. I just found it to be, here we are making a decision because of our safety and your safety, right? That quote unquote, which you're right. Not many police officers, at least in my experience, can really articulate what those safety reasons are. It would have been nice to let, in this case, Mr. Arrington know what those safety reasons are. But that's besides the point. The fact that you're going to have him exit the vehicle is one thing. Okay, got it. But the fact that you're going to seize his weapon, knowing that there is laws that says, look, you can carry a weapon, right, and not really have a license. And again, I don't want to go through all these PowerPoint slides that determines whether or not, hey, you got to have a license. These are requirements. But if you don't have a license, you got to follow these rules. That's besides the point. But they made that decision, and I just felt like that could have been avoided. And it comes to tactics. Look, I'm no tactics guru. I invited you because you are from the state of Florida and you are a firearms instructor. Shout out to Apex Training Concepts. With that being said, to your point, could it be that the deputy, since he has complete view of, in this case, Mr. Arrington, and he did tell him that it's in his waistband, right on his right side, or he says,
Right.
I'm armed. He can see the clip. You can conduct your investigation of this traffic stop and keep an eye on him, even to the point where, you can maybe get your hand and get ready to break leather. What do you think? That's an option. While the other 2 partners that arrived at scene, male deputy and female deputy, maybe get all the documents necessary to continue the investigation of a traffic stop. What do you think?
Yeah, so the deputy made the decisions that he made, in real time. And, I can speak for myself. I've been in that similar situation. if I have a cover officer, my cover officer can maintain eyes on that subject. You have to take into the totality of circumstances. The guy is, I pulled him over for a traffic violation. The guy's being compliant. Everything seems to be checking out right now. Maybe I can check to see if the guy is a felon or not, or whether he's eligible to carry a firearm or not. And then we can cross that bridge when we come to it. But at the end of the day, if you have eyes on him, there's really not a whole lot that can go sideways that you're not going to be aware of. So when you get into the realm of just that blanket statement that I've heard a million cops say, and it drives me crazy. Oh, well, for officer safety. Cool, man. Articulate for me what was what was going on that you felt your safety was in jeopardy. In this case, looking at it, I don't see any, and I've done countless traffic stops where someone had said to me, "Hey man, I got a gun in my glove box, or I got it in my waistband." And I'm like, "Cool, bro, keep it where it's at. Mine stays where mine's at."
Yeah, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, okay, let's move on, brother. Now, let's proceed with the incident. So what ends up happening is, like I said before, the female deputy and a male deputy arrive at scene. They assist the contact deputy to go around to the driver's door and have Mr. Arrington exit the vehicle. Take a look.
On my side.
I appreciate it, man, being very
Oh,
honest.
yeah, all right.
Oh, shit.
You okay?
Hey,
Put the gun down.
go down.
You okay?
You got shot in the leg.
Rescue 1068.
HQ 2162. Hey, rescue 1068. 1020.
1020. Walk with me. Walk with me. Go ahead.
That was a knife with a gunshot to his leg.
Sit down.
He does have a pistol on, so we're going to take him out from that side.
Yeah.
This one. Where's your pistol at on
On
you?
my side.
Okay. Just put your hands on the top of the vehicle for me. I appreciate it, man, being very
Oh,
honest.
yeah, all right.
Oh, shit.
You okay?
Put the gun down. Put the gun down. You okay? No. Hey, rescue 1068. Let's go. 1162. Rescue 1068.
Hey, man, come here.
1020.
Walk with me. Walk with me.
Go ahead.
Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Sit down.
Hey, he's very compliant. He does have a pistol on him, so
Where's your pistol at? On my side.
Okay. So put your hands on top of the vehicle for me. I appreciate it, man, being very
Oh,
honest.
yeah, all right.
Oh, shit.
You okay? Put the gun down.
Put it down.
You okay? Nope.
Yeah, Sean, thanks.
Rescue 1068. Let's go.
Okay, so here we are, man. Now let's get to to I suppose the worst part of the incident, because it is a negligent discharge. It used to be known as an accidental discharge. The fact that she reached in after yanking, his waistband, right? And I think at one point he says, "Hey, let me loosen up my belt so I can make it easier for you to actually take it out." But she decides to put her finger inside the trigger guard, and boom, the round goes off and, shoots his thigh. And of course, after that, as you can see, all of them did an outstanding job with the tourniquet and providing medical treatment. But let's talk tactics for a little bit, because I think the audience really needs to kind of know, I suppose, offer what can we do different in terms of avoiding an ND, a negligent discharge. What do you think?
So I'm sure the female deputy feels terrible. Obviously, she was terminated because of this. Probably wish she never did what she did. It happened, however. But this it boils down to just basic firearm safety and manipulation. When you're dealing with something dangerous like a firearm and something appears jammed or stuck, and you find yourself having to use a ton of force to remove it, maybe we should stop, take a tactical pause, look at what's going on, and reassess the situation instead of trying to keep using the BFH to get that thing out of the holster, and then we end up with this situation. Because as it does come loose, you do see it comes out with some force, and the holster goes flying, and that causes the deputy to have that ND, which struck the driver in the leg. Bonehead move of the year so far, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it's very unfortunate. Pat, let me ask you this: is there, now having to reflect on the incident, and we are breaking this down, is there any other way that you can have Mr. Arrington exit the vehicle, and what other, I suppose, best practices could be by seizing that actual firearm?
If you want to seize it from him, he's got to come out of the car, right?
Yeah.
He appeared to be very compliant. He
Yeah.
did everything he was
Yeah.
told to do. Yeah,
That
it didn't
decision was
appear-
made. We're going to seize the farm. We're good to go. That's made. Yeah, I mean, what kind of approach and tactic do we use to do that?
I don't, again, contact cover. It appeared that they were doing everything by the numbers,
Yeah.
but we just decided at some point that they were going to just keep, ripping at that firearm. I mean, it's nothing more than common sense that could have saved the day in that one. When you're using too much force, something like that,
Yeah.
you need to stop and actually look at why. Maybe just assessing the problem would have been the best course of action.
Yeah, I mean, look, it may be perhaps, do you ask Mr. Arrington, hey, man, do me a favor, very slowly, I want you to go ahead and reach and unclip, grab the clip from the outside and yank out your holster for me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I don't want to leave anything to misinterpretation. Someone else sees that. Maybe there could have been another type of incident. But I think the way they went about it was correct. I think it
Okay.
was in the not assessing the problem as to why it
Right.
was stuck was
Right.
where the problem where it came
Right.
from.
Right. And again, I'm just giving you other options here. And I've been watching this incident for quite some time, just thinking to myself, okay, what other ways could they seize that actual firearm? But if you're going to go ahead and start yanking on it, okay, well, maybe you ask him to yank it out. I don't know. True, to the sense that if you have Mr. Arrington, in this case, yank it out, yeah, the situation could escalate to the point where you're going to use deadly force or SBI. I get that part. I just feel as though, yeah, man, maybe that was the only option. And perhaps the female deputy could have told the partner right there and said, you know what, I'm having a hard time trying to get it out, try to yank it out, trying to take out this holster. Is there any other way that we can do this? Can you please unloosen your belt? Or, or maybe use a little bit more force. And because I know those clamps are very, very tight. What do you think?
Yeah. Flip side of that coin is don't go messing with things if they didn't need to be messed with to begin with, right? If it didn't present a problem and everything was on the up and up and you had positive control of your subject, the best course of action would have been leave it where it's at. But they made the decisions they made, and I don't want to money quarterback them, but you go messing around with things that don't need to be, sometimes this is the end result.
Yeah. And thanks for that. Hey, man, let me ask you something before we wrap it up. It used to be called an accidental, and we made it negligent. What do you think that is? Because I know you said back in your days, at some point, you did call it an ND, but maybe it was an accidental before?
Yeah, I mean, early on in my military career, I can remember it being referred to as an AD. However, just like most things, when you're doing an investigation into anything that goes wrong, most times things are caused by human error.
Yeah.
And when it comes to dealing with firearm safety, you manipulated that weapon in some fashion, or you pulled that trigger in some fashion that it was not meant to be done at that moment. And therefore, the gun can't shoot itself.
Right.
So, and leave the SIG fans out of it, but the gun can't shoot itself for the most part.
Yeah.
So it does require human error for these accidents to happen. So it's not an accident. It's actually due in part to negligence.
Oh, 100%. Look, you have a duty to know the basic firearm safety rules. That's
right.
That's
exactly
right off the bat when you do your investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? In this situation, you breached that duty and you caused this major incident, this major, you damaged the guy. You caused him, to shoot his thigh, for crying out loud. You and I both know he's going to get paid. Hey, talk to me about the MT in the end, man. That's what do you think, man? I think they did an outstanding job with the tourniquet, keeping their poise, calm, cool demeanor, being very receptive to Mr. Arrington. What do you think?
I mean, the whole traffic stop was done pretty well, right? From start to finish, minus the removal of the gun. And the care afterwards, I thought was right on point. They
Yeah.
rolled right into it seamlessly. They did what they were supposed to do. It's obvious that they trained or their agency provides them a level of training and they possess that knowledge.
Yeah.
Awesome on them, right? Could have prevented the issue from getting worse. Uh, not, I mean, they did everything they were supposed to do. It was,
Yeah.
hats off to them with that one.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, one last thing, and this is more me, and maybe you agree with me or you don't, but it really bothered me, her demeanor, her way of her disposition. That's a stressful situation. Granted, she just didn't do anything. I mean, at no point did she feel any remorse or come up to Mr. Crawford like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," or come up to his FTO. Expressing some type of emotion. And I get it. Some people deal with emotions differently. So I don't want to be too judgmental about her emotions, but it just, I don't know, man. It didn't sit well with me.
Shock factor, maybe. She saw her
Yeah.
career flash before her eyes.
Yeah.
She's afraid this guy may die. I'm toast. I'm done. There's
Yeah.
really not a whole lot of ways for that to end well.
Yep.
People react the way they react. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
can't call it. You can't call it on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, thanks for breaking this down for me. Let me, anything that I missed, what are the lessons learned? I think we kind of beat that up a little bit. What do you think?
In the great state of Florida, we always assume everybody has a firearm. Unless you can articulate that there's some kind of threat to your safety or, something's off, your spidey sense is tingling due to X, Y, and Z reasons,
Yeah.
that maybe don't go messing with things you don't need to be playing with.
Yeah, and you know what? My message and lessons learned for me is that let's make sure that we are making wise, sound decisions when you have a traffic violation and making that connection to determine whether or not you're going to seize someone's firearm, knowing that the laws in the state of Florida are, you can carry with or without a license. That's what I get out of it, man. Florida's out of control, bro. You're not gonna make a little fun of you. You know what? You got this. You got all these. Just false statements, telling people that they lie when there's just. I don't even know what you're talking about. And to top it all off, I can't let go of just a deputy sheriff pulling over a police officer in a marked police vehicle. That to me, to this very day, I just can't let it go, man. That's Blue Falcon of the Year award. That's the GOAT of Blue Falcons, bro.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Hey, brother, thank you for breaking this down for me. We'll have some in the future, and that's about it, man. Let's wrap it up. Hey, like always, please be safe out there, and don't forget to go Code 6. Thank you.